So I am speaking with,
Esteban Kolsky.
who you were with, Esteban?
I have my own company. It's called thinkJar. I'm an independent analyst.
And you just did a study about businesses adopting social CRM or social in any aspect to their business. And well, let me just say, out of all the findings you had, which were tons, what were probably the two most surprising to you?
So funny enough, you asked me this with a video camera because the most surprising finding was that video is gaining huge popularity with businesses as a way to engage and communicate with customers. We saw, growth rates and adoption rates that we haven't seen in many years for almost any other channel for business, for video and for pictures. That's probably the number one finding. Number two finding that wasn't really surprising, but it was more corroborating, and I was really pleased to have the data, is that we have crossed mainstream adoption for social business concepts. Businesses are actually embracing social for business functions. Businesses are embracing social as an infrastructure, and the hype that we've seen behind social and how, oh, you got to be on Facebook and you got to be on Twitter, you got to be on here, you got to be there, you got to do this, you got to that, is disappearing, and it's giving way to businesses understanding how the different business functions actually will work better with social and how the business evolved around the social technology, social channels, and social infrastructure. Those were probably the top two findings that we saw.
I think what was most surprising to me was your last slide where you showed that I think it was close to 40% just wasn't using CRM and it didn't have any plans to use it and they didn't see value in it. I mean, there's so much evidence that shows that there's value. What's your explanation for that statistic?
Well, I mean, the explanation is actually simple from my perspective, because if you look at CRM means different things for different people, and so does social CRM. And there's companies that still today are not using CRM because they don't see a benefit, they don't see a value, they don't see a business driver, a business need for it. And social CRM is the same thing. I mean, I think that 40% was a little bit of a big number. I'm sorry, it was a little bit of a low number. I would expect it to be higher, mostly due to the lack of understanding what a social CRM is and what it means. But I would say that if I had to explain it, I would say more than anything, the lack of understanding of what the term social CRM means. Number two, the fact that CRM and social CRM is not for everybody. And number three is the fact that some people really wait for the technology to be fully baked and adopted and embraced by the large majority before they adopt it. The technology laggards are basically what drives the back end of a market, and we see with social CRM as with anything else, we see laggards and we see lack of understanding and we see no need for the product like we do with anything else.
Being an analyst yourself, I'm assuming that you were collecting this data to sort of learn for yourself on how better to sort of approach prospects. So after this study, how do you see yourself approaching prospects differently now that you sort of know this more about people?
It's actually kind of funny because, like I said, a lot of corroboration went into the report. I mean, I'm a very lucky person in the sense that where I see it, I get to see all the trends happening before they actually begin to be more mainstream. So I saw video becoming a quote-unquote thing for the last couple of years, and I thought that I needed to do more video, more pictures, and less writing and less podcasts and things like that. And it's basically corroborated to me that for my business to be successful, video is the way to go. I've been thinking about doing it for a while, and now I see that I had to go and educate myself and figure out what to do and how my clients can benefit from video more than they can benefit from anything else. I knew the power of pictures before, but I didn't know that it was a mainstream thing as well. So I would say my business is based on learning from what I research, like you said, and getting better. And the way that that's going to happen is by embracing video, embracing pictures, and walking away from all this writing, which there'll be nobody happier to stop writing than me. I promise you.
Awesome. Hey, Esteban, thanks for your time.
Thank you very much for having me.